Hey guys, and welcome to a bit of a different Division video. Now I know that the campaign hasn't actually finished in my playthrough, however a lot of that is pre-recorded so I could get through doing what I'm going to be doing in this video here. And this one is really going to focus on something I found incredibly long and incredibly tedious to do, which is the Dark Zone level grinding. Like a lot of games that focus on an MMO aspect, the Division requires you to kill a ridiculous amount of enemies to gain level to be able to get better gear. And with Dark Zone level 90 gear coming out on Tuesday in the Incursions expansion, a good route was something I needed so that I could grind the levels required to be able to bring you out that day one content that I like to make sure that I do. Now I'm sure that everyone has their own way of leveling, what they find to be best. However, this was something that I found to be the most efficient to me, making the most of not only the XP, but also the best time to kill and the abundance of enemies. Now firstly for this, invest in something like a set of XP increasing gear. This is going to make a huge difference to your grind. Without XP increasing gear, it's something like 170 XP per enemy in Dark Zone 1, whereas with the gear that I had, which was by no means perfect, I was getting 295 XP per kill. So as you can see, you can really drop the time that you actually need to spend farming for this by investing well in a good set of XP gear. Then there's the route, which is just as important as the XP gear. Personally, I went with Dark Zone 1 and 2 for my farm, and this was purely because the time to kill is so much better for the XP that you get. With my gear, I was getting something like, as I said, 295 XP per kill in Dark Zone 1 and 2, and about 315 in Dark Zone 6. However, each enemy takes that much longer to kill, and the damage they do is so much higher. And as such, the effective XP of just slaughtering a lot of low level enemies for less XP much quicker made that extra 20 XP for grinding in Dark Zone 6 disappear very, very quickly, especially if you're solo or only have like one friend that you're playing with. Groups of 3 or more can make Dark Zone 6 fairly reasonable for XP farming, because it brings that time to kill down. However, even then, it just speeds up slaughtering lower level groups even more in Dark Zone 1 and 2, allowing for even quicker switching from group to group. So it really is going to be personal preference which you want to do. However, Dark Zone 1 and 2 was what I found to be the most efficient way of doing it. Especially with the amount of bosses and chests on the route. I came out with a ton of high ends after the ridiculous farm to get from 50 to 90. However, I wanted to remind people that efficiency isn't always fun. And trust me, after the 40 hours in 4 days spent farming this, we're glad to be done. However, if you really badly want the gear, this is how we did it. And so onto the route, and I will take you through step by step of the route and some of the things involved. Now there will be a map in the description below as well, and we're going to start at the Dark Zone 1 South checkpoint. Head out into Dark Zone 1. Here, there will often be a group either to your left or to the right, or even straight in front of you. Sometimes they can stop right in front of the checkpoint. They don't take long to kill, so once you have, set off northwards towards Koreatown. If you're still on that main road, once again, you will often see a patrol in front of you, or one to the right. Fairly often you can actually find 2 patrols fighting each other, so you can take advantage of that and take them both out at once. Nice and easy so far. Turn left, along the Koreatown landmark, head towards extraction at the end. Make sure to pay attention, as about halfway down on the right hand side is an open corridor through a building, which can have a cleaner patrol in it. The patrol might even have made it onto the road in Koreatown, so if you don't see them down that alley, they might be ahead of you. It's not worth stopping to hunt them though, so just carry on with the route. Once at the extraction, sometimes you will have a few remaining guys from a previous extraction to deal with, as well as a group in the gardens of a couple of guys and a couple of snipers. Now in that garden, there's the first of the Division tech boxes on the route. It's not a very well known one, and it's one that we've often found to be unlooted, so it's definitely worth checking. Moving on from here though, if you send out a pulse, which is a super useful skill on this route, you will see that down in the subway, there is a 3-man patrol. If you position the pulse right, you can actually also catch a couple of the lower guys in the subway to check whether the first boss on the route is up. Take down that 3-man patrol, Quick and easy, reasonable XP, head down into the lower part of the subway. And here is where you come across, again, the first boss of the route. You'll either run into the huge flamethrower dude, or an engineer. Now the guy with the flamethrower really is the most difficult boss to deal with down here. The engineer is fairly squishy, but that flamethrower does do quite a bit of damage, and it is a confined space, so it's definitely something to remember while you are dealing with him. Having two people, one at either end of the platform to turn him so the other can shoot his tanks and his weak spots, is a decent strategy. It's one that we've used fairly often. This subway is also where we find the first two of the division gear chests. One at the side of the platform, and one at the back under the stairs, so make sure to check these before you leave the subway. Once we're done here, head out of the subway from the opposite end of where we came in, and up the stairs. Do a quick pulse, it should be up again by now. What you will see is there are three possible groups to deal with. Two in the left, one by the basketball court and a patrol on the road, and a few guys in the warehouse on the right. Deal with the ones in the basketball court as well as the patrol first. They don't take long to deal with. And head into the warehouse through the door to the right hand side. You'll find maybe 5 people, including a light machine gunner, and fairly often there can also be a cleaner patrol further down the road, so it's definitely worth taking a look to see if they're there, because once again, 5 or 6 people to kill at around 300 XP a go with decent XP gear, so it's a decent chunk. But once we are done there, we're actually going to backtrack. We're going to head back through the warehouse and north past the basketball court towards the extraction. Now a decision has to be made here. If there's an extraction running, it's probably not worth heading up the rope here, and instead you should head towards the store. However, if there isn't an extraction, it's worth heading up there, because normally there'll be 5 guys up here, but potentially up to 10 or 12 if someone is extracted without killing the other NPCs up there. So you will actually get a fairly decent chunk of XP here from this group, with fairly minimal effort. So once this is clear, head down the ladder, head towards the store, killing the patrol to the left and to the right. There's another 10 or so dudes to deal with there, and then head into the store. If you can get to the store completely, and if you can get it, to yourself, there is around 14 guys in here. So that is a fairly hefty chunk of XP. Not only that, but there is also a boss in here, so there's a guaranteed high end in the incursion expansion, plus 4 division tech chests, and 1 division gear chest. As you can imagine, this is one of the places on the route that will be run fairly often. But if you luck out and get a route with a few people on it, well, with very few people on it, or, well, I had nobody for about 5 hours on Sunday, the store is a massive part of the route, giving not only great XP, but some goodies as well with the chance for high ends, plus that elusive division tech. If you head out the back of the store, you will come across a patrol of 5 level 31s. Giving slightly increased XP, so that's another, a decent little chunk in the leveling process. If you head left, a very short way, on the right hand side, there is a little alleyway with another 4 or 5 level 31s and another division tech chest. This is definitely one of the optional parts of the route, especially as you're going to backtrack a little bit once you deal with the guys in that Christmas area. Once we're done here, we're going to head back towards the Dark Zone 2 safe house. Fairly often there can be a patrol to the front. Quickly deal with that before heading towards the safe house itself. In front of that safe house is a little park area with another 5 or 6 dudes. Quickly deal with that before heading into the safe house to rearm if you need ammo. After leaving the safe house, head towards the library for another decent chunk of XP. Here at the library, there's another boss, either the heavy gunner animal or the sniper boomerang, plus a bunch of grenadiers, 2 other heavy gunners. And much like at the store, if you can get this to yourself, it's another guaranteed high end once the incursions hit, but there's also a division tech chest on the porch alongside a division gear chest. So once again, decent chunk of XP with some potential extra goodies thrown in. Now after the library's done, we're going to head south along the road towards the fire engine, where there might be a patrol of 5 guys to the left of it. We're actually going to take a right turn at that fire engine once we've dealt with those 5 guys, and do a pulse close to the building with a rope hanging down and the skull graffitied on the wall. If that building is up, there is another 10 or so guys in there. The 4th boss of the route, which is either going to be the grenadier boss or the heavy gunner animal once again. Once you deal with them, once again, another high end for you. Plus there are 3 division tech chests in here, plus the division gear chest on the lower part. So like the other boss areas, XP and high-end loot, with the potential for division tech and more high-end gear. So keep heading south, out of the building where you dealt with the boss. You will run into 2 patrols fighting each other more often than not, so that's another around 10 guys to kill, or about another 3000 XP if you've got the good gear. And here is where a decision needs to be made. While running east up the road, you will be able to see whether the blockade is available or not. If it's not, then head left and down into the lower car park and deal with the guys in there coming out the south side of that car park. If the blockade is up, then head over there. There's another 10 to 14 guys to deal with, potentially a couple of other patrols coming in from both the north and the south of the blockade, plus another boss, either a light machine gunner or a sniper once again. Plus there's a whole bunch of other snipers and stuff here, so watch out if you don't have a huge amount of health. Plus there is at least 1 division tech chest that I know of, and a division gear chest to the side. More loot for the loot gods, and hopefully more division tech for you to build your high-end stuff. This is just another one that is often already run. It's a very popular, very well-known place, and that is why there is the alternative to just head under that car park, because a lot of the time you are not going to be able to get to this. The amount of times you actually get to do this is very small, so getting lucky and getting a good instance is fairly important, not just to this, but any route, quite frankly. However, if you do clear the blockade, head east down to West 33rd Street towards another fire engine. Clear out the patrol down there and duck into the car park if you haven't done it already. There's another 4 or 5 guys down there with a level 30 chest. So it's worth picking up if you're looking for purples to break down. Personally, I don't need to, however, that's something for you to consider when you're doing your route. Head back west again and cut through the contaminated area here. Once again, there is another level 30 chest for more purples if you want them, but head on to West 33rd Street. Once again, there's a bunch of patrols here, usually the patrol on the right immediately as you come out of that contaminated alleyway, as well as a 3-man group huddling around a barrel down the street on the left. Right by the 3-man group though, there is another cut through towards what looks like a scrapyard. There's another bunch of guys in here, around 6 or 7, and then the other side of the street is the final boss of our route, with another probably 6 or so people, and a patrol of about 6 usually down the road to the east. This little area here has a lot of enemies, it's a lot of enemies very, very quickly, and is worth quite a bit of XP. Plus there is a division chest in the little scrapyard, and a division gear chest to the back of the boss area, plus the high-end drop from the boss itself. Once this little area is done, head west towards the checkpoint, deal with the patrol if it's there, and then that's the entire route done. So I hope this video is useful to some of you that might be having problems managing to work out the most efficient way to level up your Dark Zone rank. It is worth noting, though, that this route will only improve after the incursion update, where each boss will drop that guaranteed high end, and with so many bosses on this route, this can not only be a good way of farming just for XP, but also for gearing yourself up if you're newer to the Dark Zone, and perhaps aren't super powerful yet. Not only that, there is a pretty decent amount of division tech on the route, and with it being a lower level area, coming in here with your scavenging gear to be able to maximise what you get out of the division tech boxes is definitely another option. Now I know people will talk about Dark Zone 3 being the best place to farm XP. It is good for sure. The time to kill is not a huge amount more, but over the course of the weekend there was an almost constant spam of rogues in there. And although it wasn't great in Dark Zone 1 either, it was way, way less than Dark Zone 3. Although, that said, we came across quite a few cheaters this weekend in Dark Zone 1, so I cannot wait for that report function. Having a person literally teleport behind you and shotgun you in the back of the head, or a rogue teleport away while you're trying to kill them, is ridiculous, and is really spoiling the Dark Zone experience right now. But that is beside the point. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and that this really helps you to grind up those levels as fast as you want or that you need. I will close out this video with some footage we caught of a teleporting rogue. Sadly, no game sounds though, as I hadn't finished sorting out my recording properly for this. But still, as always, many thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Careful.
Yeah. That's why I want the up one.
He's not rogue anymore, is he?
No, I think he was in the checkpoint.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, he teleported himself into the checkpoint. Here he is. Hey, it's Deadline again. What a surprise. He doesn't do very much damage, actually. You ready?
He teed.
Alright, let's just wait for his tea to run out.
I teed for us.
Oh, God.
It's okay. You have your tea. Wow.
Oh, wow. Look, the teleports! That is on video. Enjoy, ban.
You need to send that to me also. Yeah, just stop the recording there.
Yep. He's behind us again. Let's see if he's actually teleported himself into the thing.
Yeah. I'm up for that.
There he is. Did he go left?
Yeah,
he went left.
Yeah.
Let's get him in the cut through. There was a cut through, isn't there?
No. Keep going straight and then left.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's a cut through.
No, not here. It's to your right now. The cut through.
Oh.
Wow, he teleported to the next checkpoint.
He is teleporting so much.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is so blatant.
Yeah, but we basically have him on.
We got him, boys. We got him.
Basically, Sapphire out like, yep, we just got him blatant.
Let's do it. I really want to kill him. He's still left here.
He's
in the wall, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He might be inside the wall again. Make sure you dink him. Keep the timer going. He's teleported away.
Lol.
Oh my god, it's so frustrating. No, he has.
No, he's over there. I think I saw him.
Oh, yeah, but he's teleported up the road. There's no way we were that far behind.
Yeah, he's basically to the left now of the road.
Yep. It's fine though. Like, I'm keeping the recording going because at the end of the day, like, the more I can get more and more evidence.
No, that's not. That's the other guy, friendly, that we had before.
No, he's in front of us. Deadline's in front of us. Here.
Yeah.
Just get ready with the tea. Is your tea up?
No, yours should be.
Is he? He's not rogue, is he?
Nope. Watch it.
I know, I'm watching.
He's gonna go.
What the fuck?
No, don't kill him.
Don't worry, we're not... Let's protect him. Protect him.
Yeah.